Hello and welcome back. We're going to continue to work on our project. So the first thing we want to do is open the project up. So we're going to go to our File Explorer. It's on a different screen here. We're going to go to Documents, Digital Art Class, find that project folder, and double click on our project. I'm going to give this a second to open up. And there I have my finished up project. Now I will tell you what I did up here was I went in with a gray, very light gray brush, and I painted this area out in the mask so that you can kind of see how it lightens that area up. Can't really open that mask to show you, but that's what I did there is I painted it with gray so that all that heavy area of the glass would kind of hide that area. I think that looks better. Okay, so the last thing that we have to do here is really add our elements to the inside of this bottle. Now, if I didn't tell you this before, these elements need to be a transparent background, and they most often those are going to be your PNG files. So if you can find an image of a PNG file for that, you're going to be in luck. And I have a bunch of them to show you today. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my images. Now, I just downloaded a bunch of them. So I'm going to grab one of these items from my downloads, and let's start with a fish. And I'll just drop the fish onto the project. Now, first thing we need to do is go over to our tools and we need to resize or scale this down. So we're going to click on this tool and we're double click and we're going to click on scale, and we're just going to drag this fish and make it fairly small. One of the things that I find a little bit cumbersome in this program is that you need to kind of drag it and keep it on your project. It looks a little funny if you don't, and then you have to try to find it. So drag it so that it stays on your object. Then I'm going to grab my move tool and I'm just going to move my fish and stick it somewhere in the composition. I don't really like moving objects or objects with face. They should be facing inward. So I would like to flip this object. And I did it before. Let me think how I flipped it. Is it up here? Right up here. I'm going to click on my tool and I'm going to go down to the flip tool, and it's going to flip horizontally, and then I'm just going to drag and reposition the fish so it's going the right direction. So in that transformation, this all ways you can transform. Rotate, scale, and flip are the ones that I use most often in here. So there is going to be my fish. Now, one of the other fine detail kinds of things, the fish looks a little bright to me, doesn't look like it's integrated, 100% into this composition. So one of the things that I think you ought to do is with this fish layer selected, just go to that blend mode and try out that multiply blend mode again. It's a subtle thing. It didn't go. Right, watch the fish. Okay, and that puts him kind of in with the water. If that's too much, that looks a little bit too much for me. You can try some of these other areas, these other blend modes, and see if you get a little bit better. I kind of like that one, and see, ooh, that one's not good. If any of these are other areas or other blend modes make you happier with that. So I'm going to go back to the second one there. I think that looks pretty good. Okay. And I think that helps integrate him in instead of him being like sitting on top of and just there. Okay. So let me just go back to normal on top. You see like nice detail in him, but maybe a little bit of it. One of these other blend modes might be a way to go. That one doesn't look too bad, that merge. But I think I'm gonna go here. Whoa, down here. Okay, so that's I think what I would do with my fish. Okay, I'm gonna hide the visibility of the fish right here, and I'm gonna show you another example because maybe your project didn't work out just perfect like my fish did, and allow that to look so good. So what happened I lost my water. Okay, not sure what I did. Not sure what I did there either. All right, so all I want to do is move. So we'll try it this way. Okay, so there's my project. Everything's visible. And we're going to go ahead and add another element. Okay, so what if maybe instead of adding a fish, maybe I wanted to add a sandcastle to my bottle. So I like this sandcastle. I like the detail of this one, but I actually like the results of the other one better. But we're going to go with this one for right now. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my scaling tool and I'm going to shrink this down. And then I'm going to click on my move tool and I'm going to put it in there. Now the problem is it's like this horizontal straight bottom, so that wouldn't be like straight in there, and it would be designed maybe flat and then it would be off to the side. So I'm going to go in and rotate this shape, kind of line it up with the edge of the bottle down here. So they're kind of running parallel, and I'm going to move it so that you're seeing a little bit more of it. I'm going to move it up. Now, the one thing that I don't particularly like is that one, it sticks out over the edge here, and it kind of has this sharp edge on the bottom where it is. So I'm going to hide the visibility of my water for a second. And now I'm going to use my eraser tool. And when I click on the eraser tool over here on the right side, you can, like the brush tool, adjust the intensity or the hard or softness of the brush. So I'm going to take this down to a very soft edge brush here. And what I'm going to then do with this is just kind of come in and knock off these edges. And I'm not being super careful, but I just don't want them to have, I want them kind of fade in this bottle. And then I'll put the water back on. And I like that. And so maybe I'll go with that. Again, if you want to mess with the blend modes, you certainly can. I'm going to put my video over here, I think. So if I have the sand selected, I can come in, try that multiply. Kind of like the multiply version on this one. So I think I'll just stick with it for that. So again, I could have my fish, I could have my sandcastle, I could have both of those in there and it looks perfectly fine. So for now, I'm going to hide those. And then I'm going to show you my last option for me was to do a ship. And found this cool ship, pirate ship. So I put that in there. Going to change the scale. I'm going to shrink it way down. Okay, and then I'm going to click on my move tool. See how it disappears when you go off the edge. Put my ship somewhere in here. Okay, I think I want my ship on top of my water, so I'm going to move it up to the top as well. You can play around with that because the blend mode, it will change too. But I kind of like the positioning of that, maybe just a little bit higher. Size is good. And I really don't have to rotate or anything. That one works pretty well with my water. So I'll leave that one there. Again, I can change this blend mode, multiply. I don't notice a whole lot. The water does kind of come through the front and make it look like the boat is like sitting in the water versus on top of the water. So I think that's pretty cool. So I have to kind of decide, do I want to go with my boat or my fish or my sandcastle? And I think I like the sandcastle and I like my boat and I like my fish. So I really don't know what I want to do. What if with my move tool, if I moved the boat somewhere else, could I get away? Too much. It's just too cluttered. There's just too many things. So I have to be selective here. So I could do the fish and the boat. That looks like a giant fish. Or the fish and the castle. I think I'm gonna go fish in the castle, and I may actually scale my fish down a little bit too because he's looking a little bit large in there. And I am going to reposition him so he's swimming in some cleaner, clearer water so he sticks out a little bit. All right, so I am pretty happy with that in the arrangement of my composition. So I'm going to go with my fish and the bottle with my sand castle. So I'm going to first make sure that I save what I have. So file save. And then after I save it, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot for my progress for the day. So my window button, Shift and S is my keyboard shortcut. I'm going to draw a snipping box around my program and my finished piece. And I'm going to then save that screenshot. So go in here, hit my save button, and this ends up being the 11.07 screenshot. Okay, now I have that progress photo for the work that I've done today. If you have any concerns or questions about this step of adding your element, one or multiple, to your artwork, please reach out and let me know. Otherwise, enjoy the process.